Moscow hit by massive Ukrainian drone attack, says CNN. What is happening? What is not being said by the media? Let's go into this.
A massive Ukrainian drone strike on the Russian capital overnight. According to Russian state media, defense forces intercepted more than 300 drones fired at Russia, with 91 of them specifically targeting the Moscow region. Officials say one person was killed and several others wounded. The attack unfolded just hours before critical talks between the US and Ukraine on ending the war with Russia. That meeting in Jeddah.
Okay, so right off the bat, the thing that CNN people are not saying is that Russia has been attacking Ukraine for days now. It's not that, oh, they're just trying to have peace talks and it's Ukraine. No, it's been actually the opposite. For a while now, Ukraine has been defending itself from attacks from Russia non-stop all over the country. And this is the response, right?
Saudi Arabia is set to begin in less than 2 hours. And it comes less than 2 weeks after the last US-Ukraine meeting at the White House ended quite badly. This time, Volodymyr Zelensky is not expected to take part in the actual talks with the US, but the Ukrainian president is in Saudi Arabia meeting with the Crown Prince. Top American diplomat says he wants to know what concessions Ukraine would be willing to make, adding that these talks will be key in determining whether the US will lift its pause on military aid and intelligence sharing. Well, CNN's Claire Sebastian is following all of these developments, joins me here now in London. Claire, let's get to that massive drone attack we saw images of there in Moscow overnight.
Wow, crazy. It's not really...
I guess the timing of this, unlikely to have been a coincidence with these talks set to get underway in less than 2 hours.
Yeah, Christina, look, we haven't officially heard anything from Ukraine on this very large barrage of drones, some 337 in total shot down in various different regions, 91 over the Moscow region, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. Ukraine hasn't said anything, but I think, as you say, timing is hardly coincidental, coming ahead of these critical talks in Saudi Arabia. It was a fairly disruptive, not to mention destructive attack, one death. It's pretty rare to see deaths from Ukrainian drone attacks as far away from the Ukrainian border as this. I think there's only ever been one other in Moscow, and that was last September. So definitely noteworthy disruption as well, with airport closures and delays to flights there. And I think this is potentially, from Ukraine, a way of sending a message. Their long-range drone program is something that has been homegrown, that has proven extremely effective in this war in terms of hitting Russian military sites, energy infrastructure, and of course, on several occasions, the capital itself, again, far beyond the border. They claim, as of now, according to the defense minister, to be the world's largest producer of tactical and strategic drones. So this is, to quote the US president, a card potentially that they can play in this war.
So a few things. I think it's a couple more people that did not, that have been unfortunately not making it from this attack. The thing is this: Russia is constantly attacking Ukraine all over the place. Is it just the moment in which the negotiations are happening so as to show, you know what, I can hit you too. If we want to do this for as long as you want, this is what could happen, right? Oh, but how dare you? It is silly, guys. It is war. They're at war. So Russia is attacking Ukraine. It's invading Ukraine, bombing Kiev, the capital, all day long, specifically targeting malls and hospitals and stuff like that. And Ukraine was actually targeting military assets. It was the falling debris of one of the impacted drones that actually caused a couple of victims there in civilian buildings. But it was not because of Ukraine. It was because of the attack of the Russian assets so as to bring down those drones. So I don't know, maybe don't bring them down on civilian housing and let it hit whatever it needs to be hit, or just bring it down away from it. But anyway, that's something that's not being mentioned by CNN. Is this somewhat of a card in the negotiate? It could well be. I'm not saying it's not. Yeah, sure, why not? Show that you can hit someone in the moment in which you're trying to reach peace, which I believe no one wants more peace than Ukraine. But there's a difference between peace and surrender. Ukrainians don't want to surrender. They want to have peace. Ideally, the Russians would just turn around and walk back to their own country, right? That's not going to happen. They want to keep some of Ukraine, and Ukraine is willing to even do that. But what is the alternative? If someone breaks into your house, threatens your entire family, and they say, you know what, I'm staying in the living room, and we have peace, would you let them stay in the living room? Well, probably not. Probably you want them out of your entire house, not just the living room. But let's say if you feel that the only way of saving your family is, okay, you keep the living room, maybe you go with that. Now, that would be as far as you could possibly go, because if the alternative is, well, just let us do whatever we want with all of you, that's not much of a negotiation. That's basically saying, you just give up, don't even fight anymore, and let us have our way. That's understandably not a position that Ukraine is looking to take. Oh, but they don't have any other option. Well, you can keep on fighting, as long as you can. It's not as if they haven't been successful. Remember that when Tulsi Gabbard said that Ukraine would fall in 2 weeks, 4 years ago? Yeah, that didn't happen when they were right in the border of, just outside the outskirts of the capital of Kiev. They actually landed. They took the airport in Kiev. They're not in Kiev anymore, are they? So these are all things you have to keep in mind. And in terms of hitting far away from the front line, well, fucking of course, lady. What is it that you think you're supposed to do? If you think at how Northern Ireland came to be a place where now you have peace and you don't have a conflict anymore, it was not because the IRA beat UK at their own game, fighting army versus army when you're not even one. What they did was make it perfectly clear that it would start bombing the living shit out of London until they, backed down and started talking and becoming more political. And voila, it happened. Why? Because no one wanted to see London being bombed every week. And okay, we will have our conversation then. It is this asymmetry of force that you have involved, and some will label you with one nasty name, and some other will label you as a freedom fighter if you're on that side, and on the other side you're a damn awful terrorist and whatnot. But that's how these things go. If you don't have the military might to go toe-to-toe with someone, you use whatever strength you have and you attack them in the weakest point. Understandably so. Anyway, I see that's probably why this ends up happening right now, making it. Yeah, we have a ton of drones to send your way. If we don't have peace now, this can be like a weekly thing or even a daily thing, producing and dropping these things all over the place. It's not unthinkable. It's completely understandable. Very likely. This is not like a little strip of land just a couple kilometers wide of people that are desperate and starving to death and just completely lacking of all support of any kind. No, it is still very much a full-blown country that is capable of doing a lot of damage to their neighbor. And for a long time, it was not doing it, which I think is a massive mistake. If I'm getting attacked, why am I not attacking you as well? You're hitting me, I hit you, and that's how fights go, right? It's not as if, I'm just defending myself. I'm the fucking Floyd Mayweather of war. No, you do the same thing, and then some. So yeah, that's my take on this. If you have another opinion or angle that you'd like to share, by all means, leave it in the comments below. That's always awesome. Folks, if you want to learn more about all of this stuff, you have the channel with a button to subscribe somewhere over there. And you have my books, 2 Survival Skills and definitely Surviving the Economic Collapse, giving that, especially in the United States, looking at recession to almost 3% down, the economy in Q1. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Anyway, see you later. Take care.